UGC is the absolute craze in 2025 in scaling mobile apps and softwares. When you're scrolling through your feed on Instagram, you've probably seen all these young girls and guys creating content, and then you realize it's not really their profile. You go to their Instagram, it's actually like a brand profile. That's the craze here in 2025, is lots of softwares and mobile apps are using UGC to scale their company. But UGC isn't the only way, and it's really not even the best way to scale your brand. Because all of these venture funded companies are doing UGC doesn't mean it's actually going to work for your business. And by the end of this video, I'm going to reveal the strategy and the reasoning on why paid ads scales better than UGC, and how you can implement a paid ad strategy and avoid the whole pain of recruiting and managing UGC creators to scale your business. And so let's first take a look at what your options are as an app founder. If you're scaling through organic content, you have your app built, and you're looking at ways to create content, the first platform you could do is obviously YouTube has a lot of search intent. You can create content, evergreen content on YouTube. It'll stay for a long time. It won't be like Reels that only last for 24, 48 hours. You can create YouTube content, right? Brands like Instantly are doing this. They recruit different long form UGC creators, and they have 1 to 3 creators posting 2 to 4 times per week. But there's no guaranteed amount of views, right? Like, they've been have this profile for a long time, but each video gets, a wide variety of views. And you need to stick with something like this for quite a while before you start seeing revenue coming in. And it's also a little bit hard to track unless you have UTMs and really strict conversion tracking set up. And so there's a lot of volatility in the amount of views that you have. So the efforts that you put into YouTube will likely compound, right? So it's something that you really need to focus on the long term and be able to build that long-term SEO on YouTube as well, right? Because if your software focuses on a particular domain, yeah, you can just create a bunch of YouTube videos, so when people search for something like cold email, then all your videos show up, right? And if you're wanting to implement a strategy similar to what we're going to talk about here, feel free to book a call with my team below to see if we're a good fit to work with you on paid ads or organic content to scale your software or mobile app to 100K or more. And we're looking at the next platform to really focus on is UGC short form. If you're not doing YouTube long form, you can do UGC short form, and that's essentially what we've been talking about, right? Recruiting 5 to 10 creators, and they're posting 2 to 3 times per day on platforms like Instagram and YouTube, right? So basically, you have an army of creators starting up new profiles, and essentially what they'll be able to generate, hopefully, is ideally you want to generate, from 5 to 10 creators posting 2 to 3 times per day, 10 million views in 30 days. Right, that's the kind of metrics that I'm looking at personally when I work with brands. And typically to do this, if you work with like a big agency that actually knows what they're doing, you get you really good creators, you're looking at $50,000 to be able to generate 10 million views. Right, and if you're like a venture-backed company, you can afford that. But if you do this in-house, you're looking at around $10,000 to support a team of 5 to 10 creators posting 2 to 3 times per day. So when you look at that, your CPM is approximately $1 per 1,000 views, give or take. Some creators will do a little bit better. Let's say a post goes viral, yeah, you're gonna go under $1 CPM. But you definitely don't want to go over $1, right? So $1 CPM is typically where you want to be, and you as a brand, you want to be generating revenue at $2 to $3 CPM for this to be profitable. But the issue with UGC is very hard to track, right? Is all of these numbers are tracked. Obviously, you can look at the views, but views for each creator do not obviously translate to the same revenue in the business. Sometimes you have a video that does 1 million views, but if it doesn't have a very good call to action, then no one downloads your app and purchases anything at all. So it's you literally have to attack with UGC with brute force. And so if you don't have a volume of creators, you don't have a volume of views, and you're not learning from this process, then you're not going to be able to generate revenue, and it's going to be extremely volatile. But the biggest pain points from UGC and YouTube and anything organic is just very hard to track the revenue that actually comes in from organic traffic, right? Is yes, you can kind of look at the trends when you look at App Store Connect or Stripe or wherever you track your revenue, but you're looking at trends. You're not looking at exactly what brings in the money, even if you add UTM parameters to everything, right? Even if you work with influencers you have a code for them to share with their audience, it doesn't guarantee that every user will actually use it. So it's really hard to trace that revenue. Same thing with Twitter, Reddit, LinkedIn SEO, right? I put everything here because these are kind of text-based platforms for social media. And yeah, if you have a personal brand on LinkedIn, Reddit, Twitter, you can, make these posts here and there and generate traffic to get users and get people to download your app, something like that. But you need to be consistent with it, and there's a lot of variability in the amount of views or engagement or conversions that you can actually get. But let's say you were doing this consistently, then yeah, of course, your effort would compound, right? Just like any SEO platform is, if you have a lot of forums and blog pages and just a lot of content out there, yeah, your efforts will compound. But it's really hard to track to see if this is actually something that would actually generate revenue for your business to begin with, right? But paid ads works only if you set up conversion tracking correctly and you follow the methodology that works. Because on paid ads, you can advertise, and I recommend advertising only on really 3 platforms: is Google, Meta, or TikTok, and you should only advertise on TikTok if you're a B2C brand. And the best thing about these platforms is that we can set up conversion tracking through Metapixel, AppsFlyer, Metapixel, Google, TikTok Pixel, and we can set up conversion tracking from these platforms, so we can actually attribute the revenue to each ad creative and ad that we're running. And from here, we're literally just guessing and looking at trends. But here, when we run ads, we can attribute everything. We can even see the buttons and pages where people are going to. We set up Google Tags Manager. And our strategy that we really implement in the first 30 days is we want to test out 10 to 20 creatives per week, spend $5 per day per creative, not very much at all, and find the top creative. From there, we take the top creatives and scale the top creatives on optimized conversion events and put more money behind it to get more purchases because I've already found the top creatives. And so if you already have an organic campaign, we'll just take the winning creatives from your organic campaign, or just get 10 to 20 creatives, spend $5 a day, find the best one, and then scale it up, right? So my advice is to spend at least $100 USD per day to achieve a 1 to 5, 3x ROAS, which would be really good, and consistently test 10 to 20 new creatives per week. And within 10 days, make sure your conversion tracking is good, kind of understand the performance metrics that you're getting, right? What is your LTV? What is your cost per download? What is the purchase rate from cold traffic to paid user? And then in the next 20 days, get more top creatives and scale the ad spend, right? And so really within 30 days, you only need to spend, let's say, like $3,000 on ads, and obviously whatever money you need to pay to get the creatives or do it yourself, versus 10 grand that you would spend in-house on UGC creators, where you can't even track what conversions it's bringing. Because if you're a software brand, especially if you're starting out, what you need is certainty on where to spend. Because no one likes to be in a position telling yourself, your business partner, or your investor, like, hey, I don't know where the money that I'm putting in, I don't know what we're actually getting out of it numbers wise, right? You're not putting yourself in a good position. And that's always why paid ads will scale your brand better than organic content and UGC.